Hey everyone, a couple of weeks back I shot a video on replacing the rear shocks on my 1973 Honda TL125, and there they are. And I ordered these shocks for three reasons. Reason number one, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Reason number two is they said they would fit a Honda TL125 as well as about 75 other motorcycles. And number three is because they kind of resemble the original shocks, and I'd like to keep this thing vintage bike looking as vintage as possible. But these shocks, obviously, they were incorrect. I had to modify the heck out of them, and they are just no bueno for this bike. No good. I'll show you why. Alright, so if you know trials bikes at all, you'll notice that the suspension has an awful lot of travel, and they're very springy, and they're very soft and cushy, so that you can spring up and bounce up and slam against rocks and stuff. And this rear suspension got like about 2 inches of travel, and it's no good. The first log I went to climb over, it nearly threw me over the handlebars. So these shocks, they have no travel whatsoever, and that makes them stupid for a trials bike. So I went back to the drawing board and ordered another set of shocks. Alright, so here we are, getting rid of these things. They're too stiff, they don't work right, and I'm replacing them with these beauties right here. Apparently there's not a whole lot of American suppliers of dual shocks for trials bikes here in America. I had to go to the UK to purchase these things. I got them from a company called Trail and Trials UK Limited. And the ones I got are, hopefully you can read that, these are Bader's AL, I think stand for aluminum. 380 are the millimeters from, chassis to swing arm, bolt to bolt on these shocks. And then 40 is the pounds. There's 40, 50 and 60 options, I think, for these shocks. I got the softest ones I could get because I want this thing to be soft and springy. So that's what I got. AL 380 40. And that's these. They're beautiful. They're gas charged. They're adjustable. Got all this adjustability built in here. I can swing this nut all the way up to here to tighten things up. I got them about as loose as I can. And these, I believe, are 335 bolt to bolt. These are 380. So obviously this thing is going to sit up higher, so we'll have more travel between the wheel and the fender. And they should be softer. I should be able to spring, bounce, hop, go over logs without taking a header. And, they look nice. They're beautiful, actually. So we're going to install these. This one is easy peasy, 2 bolts on. The other side I have to contend with the exhaust. But we'll see. I'll do the exhaust side first. Hopefully we won't have to modify much and there'll be just a direct bolt on. But these are beautiful, I think, shocks. So I'm psyched. Alright, so here we are on the right side of the bike. I got this exhaust to contend with. To get these on here, I had to put the exhaust on the other side of this bracket, put some spacers in there and everything. So let's get these useless shocks out of the way. And let's see if I can simply bolt on these other shocks without doing any modifications. I'd like to get this exhaust back in its original position, which I will do if I've got room. Didn't really love having to swap the exhaust around a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal. Alright, so remember I had to modify these bottoms. Whatever. Those are gone. Okay, I do want to, well, let's just put a quick trial fit of the new shocks. Alright, so here we are with the new shocks. So the bottom is a nice snug fit, but the top doesn't quite fit in here. Doesn't quite fit. Now I'm not sure if it matters up or down. This side doesn't fit either, because this collar that's in here is just too wide. So the shock fits in here, but the collar that sticks out on each side is too wide and won't go in there. So I'll have to do something about that. But first thing, I'm going to take the other side, the other shock off the other side, so that I can drop the wheel down and actually fit these things in place. The swing arm is limited to how far it will go down because the other shock is on. So let me pull the other shock off and see if that gives us a little more wiggle room here to get a trial fit. Alright, so I took the shock off the other side, so now the swing arm is free to move around. Here's the old shock. Here's the new shock. And you can see the difference in length of these things. So I should get, the bike will be standing up taller, and we should have more travel. And I already know that this end of the shock's not going to fit in because this sleeve is too wide. I can do something about that easy enough. Let's just see if there's any other interference with anything. Looks like the shock is hitting the exhaust down here, which is not cool. Alright, so I did a little investigating, and the manufacturer says these shocks can be installed either way. So this is not the top or the bottom, either way. So just given the fact that I've got this valve up here, I think it's probably more exposed down here to damage than if I have it up here. So I think I'm going to leave the valve up here, install it this way. Okay, this fits on here, no problem. And this has like a little, not really a bearing, but at least a bushing that pivots very easily. This is just like inside of a rubber boot, I think. But I'm going to install them this way, which means I'm going to have to narrow down the sleeve that's in here so that it fits. This sleeve doesn't fit inside this mount. So we just need to grind these down a little bit carefully. I don't want to damage anything. So let me just go little by little and we'll whittle these things down. Alright, so here's my plan to grind down this sleeve here. I've got my bench grinder I got an abrasive disc on it. And I am just going to, with the shock in my hand, I got good control. I am just going to gently grind down each side of this sleeve slightly until it fits in the bike. All right, here we are. I've got this thing ground down pretty good, and it fits in here nicely. All right, perfect. Now let's see if it gets in here without any interference anywhere. Oh wait, we got some slop in here. We're gonna have to do something else. The kit came with a couple of additional sleeves I think are going to be needed here. So let me go get the sleeves that came with these shocks. Alright, so the kit came with 2 of these sleeves that fit the bolt nicely. And now the sleeve's going to go inside like that. So now it fits nice. Except that the sleeve now also has to be grinded down. So let me grind down this sleeve so that it fits over at the bench grinder. Okay, I grounded this down. Now it fits in the frame. So now it goes in the shock. And so now there's no play. Now I've got to lift the bike up and get this bottom attached like so. And holy cow, it's not interfering with anything. I'm not sure what happened, but it's not touching anywhere, so that's good. Let me tighten those up a little bit, and then we'll compress the shock and see if it actually does hit during its travel. Okay, snug this down a little more. And so now it's pinching on those sleeves and it's not pinching on the actual shock itself. And it's not touching the exhaust. Wow. Wow, that looks pretty nice. And it is further adjustable. I can swing this collar all the way down to about here. But that looks nice. Got to go through the same old procedure for the other side. I've got to grind down the sleeves, and then we'll put the other side on as well. But that looks pretty good. Okay, here we are on the left side of the bike. We've got the shock. We've got the grinded down collar to put in there so that the bolt fits snug. And this one fits like a breeze because we've got no exhaust to contend with. Now let's see how springy they are. Alright, so the bike is taller, I can tell already, and it's much softer. Let's see what kind of spring we get. Oh, that's much better. That's much better. I mean, again, this is a 1973, so it's not going to have the suspension of a 2021 or anything, but those other shocks were unrideable. Seems somewhat balanced. Alright. That should be much easier to ride on the trails. I'm ready to go take it out. I mean, it's dark now, but not now, but I will take it out. We'll try to get some footage of that, but that worked out really well. And so here we are. We've got a 1973 trials bike with state-of-the-art rear suspension, which is soft and springy, which is what you need for these bikes. And now it's actually rideable, whereas before it wasn't even fun to ride down a trail, let alone climb things. And that wasn't too bad. Slight little modifications, not a big deal. Everything fit in nice after some resizing of some sleeves. We got good travel. We got no interference with any of the exhaust system on the other side. And so we're done. Now we're going to take it out and go have some fun. Hope you enjoyed that video. If so, please subscribe to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.